On January 19th of this year in New Jersey, a Ridgewood police officer made a traffic stop and eventually let the driver off with a warning. The driver was NFL insider reporter Diana Russini, and police body cam and dash cam footage from that stop exclusively obtained by the Center Square. The story unfolds. Let's watch.
Pull me over.
Yeah.
So, you're not going to care. I'm an NFL reporter, and I just wrote that Sean McDermott got fired from the Bills, and that is what I was just sending to send a tweet. I was going to pull over because I have to make calls.
Okay.
I know you don't care, but I'm just letting you know my reason why.
Okay.
It was a work thing, and it was an emergency for what I did. Of all times, it's like no one expected. Are you a football fan?
Yeah.
Like, I'm shocked that they fired me. I cannot believe it. You know who was on the phone with?
Who?
Brian Gable. He's the boss of the job.
Oh, okay.
Are you a fan of Giants or Jets?
I'm not a fan of either. So.
What is your team?
I'm a Vikings fan, unfortunately. Let's see it.
Can you see the name?
Oh my God. KOC?
See what I said? Look what I said to him though just now. Go to the bottom.
Oh my God. Wow. Pretty cool.
Dude, I love the Vikings. KOC's awesome.
Yeah. He seems like a good
Your
dude.
quarterback sucks though.
Do you have your registration as well? That's what I was going to ask next is like, have you ever gotten points, anything like that? No? No? All right. You heading home now?
Yes, sorry. I gotta go on TV and work.
Okay. What channel?
Well, I work for The Athletic, which is like the New York Times.
Yeah.
I'm doing something for Fox this morning.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Basically, yes,
All right. Just give me a minute, okay? Listen, I'm going to cut you a break on the cell phone. I understand your job requires you to be on the phone a lot.
I know. It's so bad. I should do that.
Just try to wait till you get home, okay? And yeah, keep me updated with the Vikings, okay? Let me know if KOC is going to get a new quarterback in. Of course. All right, man. Take care.
Now, joining us to discuss the implications of this video is the Center Square investigative reporter Adam Herbets, who obtained that footage. Adam, the Center Square scooped major platforms on this footage. What's your sense of why other outlets didn't advance this beyond what was initially reported?
Look, I don't want to talk on behalf of other media outlets. I can only say how we got the video. And it started with an article by the New York Times, which is the parent company of The Athletic, which is the company that Diana Russini worked for. They described a podcast appearance where Russini essentially bragged about getting out of this ticket. But the version that she told was a little bit different. She said that she FaceTimed the NFL coach, that he was sitting in his office, that he agreed to talk to the officer, and that the NFL head coach helped her get out of the ticket. Now, obviously, the body camera video shows something a little less dramatic, but it's the same principle. She's still name dropping an NFL head coach to get out of a ticket, and it raises questions about all sorts of topics. There's the journalistic integrity side of things. There's the police transparency side of things, and then everything in between with Rossini getting in hot water earlier this year. She was caught on a private, romantic, adults-only resort, holding hands with interlocked fingers with the New England Patriots head coach. So it just raises all these questions. How are sports fans getting their news? And it also raises questions about basic public safety. When she told this story on the podcast, she said that her kids were in the car, and this was the second time that she had committed this violation of texting while driving within a span of a few weeks. She's bragging about this on a podcast. Not a good look.
Yeah, even the New York Times, the parent company of The Atlantic that she mentioned in that video you obtained, a reporter talking her way out of a ticket with a police officer is unacceptable conduct. Listen, just to share a personal note, in Springfield, Illinois, I was on the air for a long time. I remember driving into the 6 o'clock in the morning radio show. It's 5 o'clock. I'm speeding. I got a ticket. But when I got pulled over, The officer asked for my license and registration. I handed over, not really saying much. And then he comes back and says, why didn't you tell me who you were? And I simply said, would it have made a difference? Obviously, he was a listener. It just seems to this kind of conduct here that the video highlights. It's got a lot of people, scratching their heads, thinking, why wasn't there more reporting on this? Why did it take an outlet like the Center Square, where we have a taxpayer sensibility, but we also do investigations, like you and the team with the investigative unit does? Why did it take the Center Square to actually get the truth of that story through video evidence?
Look, I mean, whenever we see a story, we want to fact check it, right? We want to get a second source. We're not just going to take people's word for what happened, especially because Rossini has been caught exaggerating some of this type of thing in the past. So I wanted to see what the body camera looked like. Look, I'm a sports fan, but I'm also a journalist. I care about journalistic ethics. Look, if I were to ever work for any news company I've ever worked with, even prior to the Center Square, and I was showing them text messages on my phone with confidential sources, I'd lose my job. I mean, off the record means off the record for a reason, but this is literally now a record. It is a public record. It is a police public record. So she's using that for her own personal benefit. I've been pulled over by the police too. I've tried to talk my way out of a ticket. I've never used my job to do it. And I think that's one of the first things they teach you in journalism school, whether you're a TV reporter, a print reporter. You never want to be caught in a situation where you say, do you know who I am? It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. We don't know if it mattered to this police officer. He sure seemed to be impressed. He said, oh, that's cool. Keep me up to date on the quarterback situation with the Vikings. But the department says he was just exercising his discretion.
Yeah, this isn't just a story about a public figure flexing their muscle during a traffic stop and getting a warning. What are some of the other underlying issues? You kind of touched on those a little bit up front. The police transparency, the public safety aspect here, the journalistic integrity. Delve into a bit more on that public safety aspect, because they do have discretion, right? I mean, you got a statement from the Ridgewood Police Department explaining kind of this idea of discretion. Let's go ahead and pull that up so people can see the statement you got. What did they tell you?
Yeah, police officers are encouraged to use their judgment and, when appropriate, provide motorists with warnings as part of the department's commitment to fair, impartial, and community-oriented policing. So Rossini claims she had never been pulled over before, at least in this traffic stop. However, on the podcast, she said that she had just gotten pulled over weeks prior. Again, which version of the story do we believe? I haven't been able to find any additional traffic stops, but we're going to keep looking, because who knows? Maybe this is a pattern. The New Jersey Comptroller's Office has studied this. They looked at discretion with police officers when they conduct traffic stops. They published a study in 2024 saying some officers were abusing that discretion even when drivers were putting the community at risk. I don't know if Rossini's kids were in the back of that car. You don't see her on the body camera video at any point, telling them to pipe down or to shush or to be respectful to the police officer as he approaches the window. So maybe she fabricated that part of it when she told the story as well. I hope for her sake the kids were not in the back of the car, because you can see on the dash cam video, she was swerving a little bit. She couldn't maintain her lane on a one-lane highway in New Jersey in the winter with snow on the ground. Obviously, it's breaking news is not going to be a reasonable excuse to cause a crash, to hurt someone else, or to hurt your own children, God forbid, if any of that were to be the case. I'm glad we're talking about this in terms of hypotheticals, but these are the types of things that police officers think about on a daily basis, which is why they conduct traffic stops. And look, it's probably a good thing that officers have the ability to exercise discretion. I've spent a large part of my career reporting on police quotas and how some officers feel like they have to hit this specific number. They feel like they're tax collectors on behalf of the city. Essentially, their traffic stops are part of the city's ability to raise revenue. That's not a good idea either, which is why states like Utah and New Jersey have banned ticket quotas and have encouraged officers to be able to use their discretion. It's like a journalist, right? You want to be able to get the other side of the story. You want to be able to at least talk to the person behind the wheel and see what's going on. But hey, it's breaking news. An NFL head coach just got fired. I would never use that excuse to get out of a ticket. I wouldn't use any excuse involving my job.
Adam Herbert's investigative reporter for the Center Square. Thank you so much for taking time with us, and we'll be watching more about that story as it develops. And you can read Adam's story and watch the entire video here on YouTube with the Center Square or at thecentersquare.com.